Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This is your host, Rising Oblivion, and welcome back to another Megaten Mysteries. Today's episode is going to be about Akechi being the other wild card. So, this is another unsolved mystery in the Megaten universe. That is Akechi being another wild card in Persona 5, similar to what Joker is or the other protagonists like in P3 and P4. Well, there actually is a lot of evidence supporting this mystery and lots of instances in the game that shows his wild card-like abilities. So if you don't know, this series is where I go and find mysteries and unsolved things in the Megaten games and research and explore those mysteries. So let's go ahead and jump right into this mystery. So, I guess you could say Akechi is somewhat the antagonist in Persona 5 in the story in some ways. He's kind of the opposite of our main boy Joker or Ren, but Akechi is even talked about by Morgana in Persona 5 saying he's got similar powers to Joker's. So, now it doesn't seem to be that Akechi's powers are not exactly like Joker's, but they are very similar. So, Morgana is some supporting evidence for Akechi being the wild card, but Morgana has been proven wrong to be, not exactly right with all the things he says within Persona 5, so we can't use that for 100% evidence when it comes to him being a wild card. We need some more supporting evidence towards him being a wild card, but here are the different pieces of evidence that we could sort of have other than just Morgana saying it. But a big piece of evidence that supports this fact is that Akechi has two personas, that being Robin Hood and also Loki. Now, I know a lot of people will say it's just him hiding his persona, his true persona, because he starts with having Robin Hood and his true persona, I guess a lot of people would like to say, is actually Loki. Well, the thing is, he can actually switch between them, and we even get to play as Akechi and know that he gets to full-on use Robin Hood as a real persona, and he can switch to Loki whenever he wants to. So, at the end of the day, they are different demons slash personas that Akechi can use in his arsenal. Now the thing is that Akechi's personas are part of the Justice Arcana, which is kind of what Akechi is. He is part of the Justice Arcana, so it makes sense for him to have two personas that are part of that. But this is the weird thing about Akechi, is that most wild cards within the Persona series, they are usually the Fool. That is usually their Arcana, not Justice as what Akechi is. And if you don't know, the Fool is usually what, our P3 protagonist, P4, and P5 protagonists all have the Fool, or technically the number on that tarot card is 0. Which is why they are the wild card. They're kind of able to be anything they want to be, which is kind of the point, I guess, of the wild card. So this could be why Akechi has some limitations to his power, or simply there are other reasons his wild card power is not to its full potential. But let's start to go into this and talk a little bit more about his tarot card more specifically and what it means to actually be a wild card. You see, the wild card needs to have confidants to widen their power. This is the whole point behind the wild card, and that the contract that Igor gives you, and then it grows stronger and other people within the Arcana. So there are, different Arcanas that you can, link up with, the Hierophant, the Lovers, there's a whole slew of them that you can link up with, and that makes the wild card even stronger. Well, Akechi being so reserved and behind the scenes, it's no surprise to see that he only has two personas, because he does not have a lot of social connections needed for the wild card. And if he does have those connections, they're probably not very good ones, which is another point of the wild card. He needs to have those connections with the different people in the Arcana, the different tarot cards that the other people have, but he also needs to have good connections with them for them to become stronger. So when we take a look at Akechi and him being a wild card, who could he possibly have some connections with? Well, when I think about it and look at the game, there's really only two connections that he could kind of have. Sainija being one of them, and his father. And as we know, his father and him don't have the best connection. Sainijima, maybe it's a little bit better, but more than likely Sainijima is the Robin Hood and his dad is Loki, but that kind of doesn't make sense because those are Justice Arcana stuff, so it's kind of hard to explain here because of how weird Akechi is with his sort of wildcard powers. And I also would say Joker is also another connection he has, but that's a connection with the tarot card, the Fool, so it's kind of unknown what it would mean to be a wild card to another wild card user and what that might potentially do for your personas and whatnot. So all in all, Igor might have seen the significance of Akechi and granted him some type of wildcard power. At least from the game's perspective, Akechi is really important for the game. I mean, love him or hate him, he does have, you know, a role when it comes to helping out the thieves in the end. Whether it is bad ties to the Arcana or Igor giving him a dumbed down version of the wild card, he still shows that he has at least some wild card type abilities. Akechi, however, is not the only character in the series though to have some wild card powers. Actually, P3's Aegis actually does have the power to transfer, you know, she actually obtained through a transfer the wildcard power. And my good friend Resident Unleashed can go ahead and tell you a lot about that.
Although there has been an instance other than Akechi of someone using the wildcard power, other than our main protagonist. Aegis was actually given the wildcard power at the end of Persona 3, although she did have limitations, not being able to fuse personas for instance. So, possibly, she and Akechi might have similar instances where Igor possibly gave them wild card-like abilities with limitations. This might also be why Akechi does not have such strong wildcard powers as Joker would. Thanks for having me on, Rising. If you'd like to see the video Rising helps me with over on my channel, check the link below. It's about the top 10 Megaten demons in Japan.
Thank you, Resident, for that information. So this is even more evidence that not only shows that just our protagonists are the ones that can have a wild card power. We have multiple instances of people given, you know, the wild card abilities. Whether it's through transfer or simply maybe Igor giving it to them, there are some instances of people having it, you know. She is a perfect prime example of somebody else getting the wild card power. So some evidence here that we have. Let's go over all what we know. So Akechi has multiple personas. He has evidence from Morgana saying that he's got similar powers to Joker. Evidence that Akechi has not widened his wildcard power through Arcana links. His significant role in the story hints towards him having a wildcard power are the possible things that Igor has given to him. We know he possesses abilities. He understands the metaverse. He understands, you know, the logic, the reasoning behind this, and knows about the thieves as well. So he's given a big significant role possibly by Igor, which is why he might have this. Either Akechi is a wild card exactly like Joker, or he has some type of significant role, at least within the events of the Phantom Thieves, that Igor feels that he deserves to have more power, maybe more than just a regular Persona user. So that is kind of the mystery, kind of the theory around this, that either he is a full-on wildcard user or he is a Persona user, but he is a different type of Persona user. So he might not be a full-blown wildcard user like Joker, but he might be something a little bit more than just a regular Persona user, like we see with like the rest of the cast within at least the core, you know, trilogy P3, P4, and P5. I mean, P1 and P2 are a little bit different when it comes to people having multiple personas, so if we at least use that evidence, it's kind of different with P1 and P2, but we do see that Akechi has more abilities than just your standard Persona user. So that's kind of it for now. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you have anything else to add to this mystery? Anything that we could possibly also see, maybe through his story, through different, you know, things. Maybe the manga has some stuff in there. I haven't read all the P5 mangas. There might be more evidence out there showing more of his wildcard type of abilities. He is sort of a yin and yang to Joker, so in some ways it kind of does make sense for him to be kind of the opposite of Joker. He has almost, you know, no personas. He has just a couple. Not a lot of people like him. He's sort of the opposite, but he still holds some of the same abilities. But I think that's going to be it for this video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe for more content. Check down in the link below for Resident's channel. Give her a sub, please, and go check out the video that we did on her channel as well. I helped her out on the video too, and it's a very fun video, so please check out both of our channels. Click the bell to be notified whenever I go live again. As always, thank you all so much for watching.